Hello again, welcome back to European Autocraft Studios 944 Turbo project. Still, we're gonna shift gears a little bit from transmission to fuse panel. Shift gears, get it? That was my, I thought that would be kind of, well, so we're gonna do the fuse panel here. I wanna show you how I do it, how I sort the different levels, and you can tell by the glasses on here. You can tell by the length of the terminal that goes through the very bottom. And this is like level 1. These go in, little jumpers just go in here. And so these are at the bottom level. They're going to have the smallest terminal extension. These have the next one up. So this is the level above it. You can see the difference. It's not a lot, but it's just enough to get through the next layer of plastic. So that's 2 and then 3, all the way up to, these are some real long. You can see the difference here. So these are at the top level. So we're going to get all these sorted out so we have them in different groups. The big ones, like these here, these are going to be pretty obvious where they go, and they have the very tall terminal, so we know that these are going to be up in the top or the upper levels. Not too worried about those. There'll be a big imprint where these go, so we're not too worried about the real big ones. But these little ones can get confusing. So we want to get them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers, I think, maybe 6. I don't remember. But I'll see as we go. See how many we have, and then we'll start layering them in. But before I do that, too, I want to clean them. I tried several different cleaners to clean the terminals, because we don't want to put them back in looking like this with the corrosion. So let me get these sorted out, and we're going to start cleaning them, and I'll show you how easy that is. But you have to be real careful. I'll explain that a little bit. So let's go ahead and get these sorted out one at a time. Okay, we have them sorted in different piles. It's kind of getting a little vertigo there, staring at these. Some looked right, but then I had one in the wrong pile back and forth. So it should be sorted now. This will be for the first layer. It looks like there's a lot more than there should be, but we'll see. So I want to clean these because there's no sense in putting these in all dirty, and I mean, look at these, are pretty rough looking. So I tried different chemicals, and I came up with the muriatic acid. Just still works the best, but you have to be real careful with it. I can show you. Always keep water with you because you have to rinse them. But you also, if you get any on your skin or something, my skin's like an alligator, so it takes me a long time to feel it. But if we just keep rinsing your hands, and I'll wear eye protection and gloves and things like that, which I am not. But I'll show you how easy this works. These I didn't sort because these go through the top, and there's no tab to measure, so we'll just have to figure these out along the way. But let me find a really bad one here. Look at this one. This one's pretty rough. Little number 6. You can see how rough that thing looks. So we're going to drop that in and just give it a moment. It cleans up pretty quick. I don't care so much about little tarnishes on the strips, but that's just tarnish. But these actually got hot and discolored from heat. So we're going to clean them, and then we're going to tighten them all up a little bit. And just give it a good rinse. Once they're rinsed, they clean up real nice with a wire brush. That's it. You can clean them all up nice if you want. Get in there, and you can leave them in for a much longer period of time. This is muriatic acid from It's just concrete etch. Works really well. And then I'll take a pair of just a pair of little pliers here, and I'm going to pinch it down close to the bottom. If I pinch it up here, it's just going to flex. I want to pinch it right where it's mounted at the bottom, so it'll put just a little more tension on the fuse or the relay terminal or whatever this is going into. So we're going to clean these all up. These are the ones, like I said, that aren't going to have a home just yet. Let's see, 5. That's funny because this one's longer than this. Maybe the acid made it grow. Probably not. So I'm going to go ahead and clean all these, and we'll be back to start assembling the lower rail, the lower section, which is this part. And all the short ones from row 1 will go in there and protrude the exact amount. And then as you go up in layers, there'll be less of it exposed, but the same amount as this one. If that makes any sense. So we're going to go ahead and clean these up, and we'll be right back. All right, we're done cleaning the individual pieces. Most of them I remembered to pinch them tight. I'm going to go check them all again when I put it together. I'm going to make sure everything is good and perfect and straight as we assemble this. But I want to show you this first because there's a lot of confusion with the 944 interconnects and the 928. I'm getting a lot of people say, oh, the 928 fuse panel is a nightmare, it's a disaster. And a lot of the time they say that is because when they look in the back of the fuse panel, it's all gray wire. Why? Well, those are the interconnects that you see here. It's the same thing. What the 944 does and the 968, they layer all of these contacts through here, which you'll see next week when I build it. I wanted to really show you how this all works inside so you're not afraid of it. It's really pretty interesting how it works. So these interconnects are the same as the 928 fuse panel. You're not supposed to see this. This is the inner workings of the fuse panel. Same with the 928. If you pull that back and look at it, it's like you're peeling back the curtain on the Wizard. Gee, yeah, you don't want to see that stuff. So that doesn't matter. That's just like these. These are your gray wires on the back of a 928 fuse panel. And it's depicted exactly the same as a 944 wiring diagram. So if you have a failure in your fuse panel and it melts a wire, well, it could just as easily as burn one of these, only these are a lot thicker. Well, that wire, well, what does this wire go to? Well, you can find it just like you can find it on here. So I have a few interconnects stuck in here just so I can give you an idea of how it works in a wiring diagram. This is the central electric board diagram. And here's our central electric board. What do you know? But only a small section of it. And if you look in your wiring diagrams, let's say, because we have the relay G16, G12 here. If you're looking in the lighting system, you're going to see this relay, and a tiny little section of the central electric board will be depicted in that wiring diagram. Well, I have the whole diagram here, and since they can't show you all these interconnects and wiring here, they show you a few large ones, and then they just give you coordinates inside the central electric panel. These are only for internal, and these are all the connections in the coordinate field diagrams throughout the system, throughout the entire car, all the different pages that we have. So to sum this up and make it somewhat more understandable, let's take a look at what connections I have here. If I can keep this together. I've been having trouble trying to keep this together. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at the bottom of this fuse panel. So we have a few connections here. Let's go with N and O. N. Okay. If you look, this is plug N. I probably should give that to you. Connector N and connector O. If you see these here, I have N11, N12. And over here is O4142. So keep that in mind. Now look at this. If I can get this off. That's what these are here. These are just jumpers that just sit right in there, and they bridge those two connector blocks. So if we're looking for N, the N connector is here. The O connector is way over here. So in this central electric board, it's just a little jumper. But here, N11, N12, they take me to, now this is internal, 041, 042. So that's column 4, row 1, column 4, row 2. So here's our O connector, O4142. And look where they're telling me to go. N11, N12. This is right here, N11, N12. And then these go off into another coordinate field diagram somewhere. We don't even care at this point. But those, if you need to find the circuit, you will find it if you're looking at it this way. So from here to here, there is nothing else. They're just simple numbers. N 041. Here is connector O, 41. There's only one, N11. It has to just be a jumper. There's nothing else. So look at this one. So now we have another one. This one, let's see. This is going to be B. I'm going to try to see this here. What terminal is that? B12. Okay, so that's column 1, terminal 2. B12. So if we lay this on top here, B12 goes to, survey says, fuse number 17. And that's the only place it goes. There's no other connections. I know it goes there by the imprint of the fuse panel. That's why these are so easy. So we have B12 goes to fuse 17. So let's see that. Find our connector B. B12. Connector B. This is 1, 2, again internal. B25 goes off somewhere else. We don't even care. This is German for fuse, I believe, but it's definitely a fuse. So there's fuse 17. So let's go to fuse 17. Where is 17? Right here. Where does it go? It goes to B12. What do you know? Now check this out. This is a bus inside the fuse relay panel. Relay G2 is a load reduction relay. That's why I think that's why it's 15E. That's the extra. When you turn the key to start, this system shuts off. And when that shuts off, it turns off your lights and things like that, so you have more power to start the car. They started doing that on the early cars before the 920, after the 924. Okay, so that's pretty basic here. There's one more I want to show you. Let's see. I mentioned it, and I want to say connector C. Okay, connector C. I have what is that? I have column 3, terminal 4. So column 3. You know what? No, let's not do that one. Let's do the other one. Let's do the double here, because that's going to make more sense. Okay, so we have row 2, column 1. I'm sorry, column 2, row 1. Column 3, row 1. And that was, what did I say? C. Okay, so C. C11. What did I say? 3, 1.
2, 1, 2, 2.
2, 1, and 2, 2. Okay, here we are. 2, 1, and 2, 2. So here we go from C31, C31. Look at this. C21. Well, that's our jumper. That's this. That's our jumper right here. So they're telling us, again, that was 3, 1. Such a hard time remembering. 3, 1. 3, 1. 3, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1. Oh my gosh. Okay. 2, 1 and 3, 1. 2, 1. C. 2, 1. 2, 1. And 3, 1. Well, this one sends us back to 2, 1. And this one sends us back to 3, 1. So that's a jumper. And that's this. That's our jumper. But where else does it go? That goes to relay G12. G12, and you can barely see it in there, but G12 terminal 87. That's ready for terminal 87 when we plug the relay in. So G12 terminal 87 is a high beam relay. G12 high beam relay terminal 87. It goes to C1. I'm sorry, C21, C31. So if we go back over here, C31 and C21, where are you? 21 goes to relay G12, pin 87, and 31, G12, pin 87. And it's a lot of numbers, and obviously I get confused too. But see, that's what this is. This is your wire that connects these two together, these two here, because between 2, 1 and 3, 1, these go to B5, and 2, 1 goes to B6, out in the wiring diagram in the electrical. I don't know where they go unless I look at the diagram, but we're not looking at that. We're understanding the relay panel here. So that's how you can see inside this, just by looking at the diagram, you know what's going on in here. And if I run into trouble putting these back in, which I won't, probably not, then I can always refer to the diagram and say, well, there should be a jumper there, and I can find it that way. A little more complicated that way. We shouldn't need to do that. Hopefully I remember. All right. So the next thing, the layers. Once all these terminals are put in the bottom layer, we have another layer. And there is all these pieces for the next layer. And that's what this is going to be. You saw when we took the fuse panel out, there were 2 large red wires coming in. Those are your battery terminal wires for 30. This is a 30 bus. And not a big bus you sit in. It's just a little bus like this that you get to look at. And has these terminals right here. And look, it's so easy to tell where this goes. Look at the size of this pattern. And this is recessed by right about the thickness of this. And that'll go right in here. Now, like I stated earlier, this is the second layer, so these terminals are a little bit bigger, longer, but by the time you get it all together, they're all the same size. And they get longer as you go, as you see. It's pretty simple. So, what's all this about? Well, we have battery power live all the time here. This looks like it'll cover fuses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is blank. So there's no 30 power for fuse number 5. That's probably in another layer. In fact, I guarantee it's in another layer that doesn't touch this, and it pokes up for the fuse to catch. And all it's in there. We just don't know where yet. We haven't looked at it. So if you want to look real quick at this, we got, let's say, fuse 1 through 4, and then 5 is missing. Where are our fuses? Here's our bus. That's this bus that I'm showing you right now. Fuse 1, 2, 3, 4, and see how 5 is not connected. And then it goes on to the rest of them. Now here you can't tell, but see 1 and 2? 1 and 2 are on the opposite side. So if the fuse blows, you're going to get no voltage on this side of the fuse, but you get voltage here. And if these fuses blow, you get voltage on the outside, but nothing on the inside. And that just goes on down. And just to hit the home run here, we've got E. Oh no, that's an L. Glasses. L41, L42. L, where's my L? L. L41, L42. See how they're joined here? And this goes also goes to A11, but this is our bus that connects to all of these. And they're depicted, the pinouts are everywhere. I mean, you can find things that interconnect all over the place. But to get a real good look at how it functions and how it works, is to really rip it apart and take a look. But be prepared to put it back together, which we're going to do next week. I know we took up a lot of time cleaning, even though you only saw it for a few seconds. It's taken a long time. So there it is. Your terminals that go through interconnect everything with the plugs that go in the bottom of the fuse panel. Yes, it gets complicated, but if you think about it, it's logic. It's complete logic. There's no fuzzy logic here at all, and there's no guesswork. It's all right there, and it's all right here for you to look at on your wiring diagram. So for the 928, if you having problems and you suspect the fuse panel has an issue, let's just say the fuse number 37, I have no power coming out, but the fuse is good. On a 928 fuse panel, you don't have to take it apart. You can turn it around and take a look. And if you have a burned wire, then you'll have one of these that is burned out. It would be just like this. It's just like taking this out, cutting it in half. Only these are a lot thicker, so they probably don't burn. It burns everything else, but it won't burn these. The 928, the wires are a little smaller. They're designed to carry the load they're designed to carry, but in a catastrophic type failure, you know, putting in a stereo, you just do something you shouldn't do. I've seen it happen. It's like getting a new pope with the smoke. So there it is. That's how it works inside. Next week we're going to actually put it together. I'll show you how to put it together. These are nice and clean now. We're going to tighten all these up too, and we'll have a nice fresh fuse relay panel to plug back in the car if we ever put the car together. If nothing else, we get to learn a lot by doing this stuff. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. I have one transmission here from Jeffrey. I've got another one coming next Friday. And once I get the three-phase converter, you can't see it, but it's working on the power supply for the machine. We're going to be able to wash, clean everything, wet jet blasted, and all that good stuff. Anyways. That's it for today. Please like, subscribe. Our Patreon is up. Nobody's joined yet. I get it. That's okay. One day you might feel like you want to join. That'd be great. We have a lot of good stuff to give you. A lot of video to watch that you know, you think I'm screwing up on camera now. You got to see the outtakes. Some of them. Anyways, that's it. Like, subscribe. What else is supposed to do? Like, subscribe. Share. Thumbs up. Notifications. And that's it. We'll see you next week.